Hey, this is Matt once again. What about another video? And very nice guy on here. The Flying Ninja 1 is his username. His actual name is John Beckett. He wrote a book, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it because if you're a fan of martial arts of the 1970s, it is easily worth a look and worth a read. It is on Amazon, among other places, and that is Flying Fists: The Definitive Guide to the Western Martial Arts Films of the 1970s. Again, the Flying Ninja 1, he has a YouTube channel. He has not made a lot of videos in a long while. Maybe he took the time to write this book. I've always wanted to write a book like this, but I never could find the time to do it. But if you like martial arts films of the 70s, and this is the Western martial arts, this is a book that is easily worth a look. I'm not just saying it because he's a friend. I really do mean it. No bullshit. Now, it is about 300 pages. Well, a little less than 300 pages. Now, some people may be annoyed because, as you can tell, there's not a lot of pictures. Once in a while, you see a little black and white picture. It would have been cool to see, like, if each film had, like, a color photo of the VHS cover or the poster. It'd be very eye-catching to the viewer. But that's the only nitpick I have. It's well written. The words are not small enough to hurt your eyes, but not big enough to feel like you got ripped off, because there's a lot of info on these pages. And this deserves the word definitive. After a brief history of martial arts leading up to 1973, with Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, he goes chronological from 1973 to 1979. And he covers a gluttony of Western, and when he says Western, meaning films outside of Asia. So there'll be films from Italy, there'll be films from Australia, there'll be films from the US, and it's well written. There's a big lack of spelling errors, the grammar is well done, and each review is given an extensive, like this is Cleopatra Jones. You get one page there. You also get a second and a third page. Very concise, straightforward thoughts, to the point, understandable. And when I say it's extensive, like Mr. Hercules Against Karate. What that is, I don't know. That's the thing. That's what would have been nice to have a picture of, like a poster or VHS to give a visual cue as to what kind of film this is. But again, if you like reading, this is easily a very informative book. Superman Against the Orient. And when I say I was going back to extensive, this goes into some of the Chuck Norris films, like A Force of One, Good Guys Wear Black, Slaughter in San Francisco. And what's nice is there is an index if you want to look up titles, like Slaughter in San Francisco will be, anytime it's mentioned, at 1.86, and you go to 86, and there it is right there, Slaughter in San Francisco, which, as he puts it, otherwise known as the slightly dubious-sounding Yellow-Faced Tiger. Originally intended to be the third collaboration between Bruce Lee and director Lo Wei. Below par, formidable martial arts film. To a hardcore Chuck Norris fan, though, it's an important piece of cinematic history. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can see why the guy became a star. He may not be the greatest actor in the world, but its star quality means that when someone's on the screen, you look at him, and only them, he definitely has it. Chuck Norris was understandably perturbed by this new re-release, as not only was it marketing itself as a new Chuck Norris movie, but he didn't really want his image as a clean-cut all-American hero to be tainted by a low-budget, badly dubbed Hong Kong movie where he played a murdering, rapist, gangland boss. Legal action was taken by Norris, which he ultimately lost. I said there's a nice, thorough review, some nice info. It even goes into a couple episodes of The Incredible Hulk, which had Mako in it. There's even a TV movie of Spider-Man that's mentioned. Like, this is the Incredible Hulk episodes mentioned. Right there, Incredible Hulk. Because those episodes dealt with martial arts. That's for me, that is taking the time. You know, Jaguar Lives, with Joe Louis is mentioned. Let me find the Spider-Man one. I know it was later in this book. Even, you know, Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death, 1979, because there's some martial arts to that. Spider-Man, The Dragon's Challenge is talked about. And lo and behold, going from 1971 to 1979, year by year, which, there was one time I got a slasher film book, and there were either films in it that I'm like, how is this a slasher film? Alien is a slasher film? Yeah, they put Alien as a slasher film, and they didn't go year by year. Year by year, it makes it easier to digest, like how movies progress. It goes into the Jim Kelly movies, the Tattoo Connection, the Black Belt Jones. Hot Potato. Let me see. I do like once in a while he'll throw something in there. For example, he'll throw Bolo Yun. He does a chapter on him on page 144, and Carl Scott 203. Carl Scott was a martial artist that didn't get to do a whole lot of movies, but it was nice that he put a few pages. And he's in a film I liked, which he talks about Soul Brothers of Kung Fu, which is great. And he doesn't shortchange. Like, Soul Brothers of Kung Fu gets a full page in this. That's what I mean. It's not just this big, here's the plot, then the review is 1 or 2 sentences. This is a guy actually, you're talking to someone who has a love, who has a passion, and is extensive in his thought process of why he likes or dislikes the film. In this case, Soul Brothers of Kung Fu. Fantastic film, Kung Fu classic, perfect showcase for Bruce Lee, L.I. But if it's Carl Scott you're wanting to see, you may be a little disappointed in his share of the screen time. However, I would hardly advise you to watch it regardless and think of it as a Carl Scott aperitif. I'm not sure about that word. It's a real word, I just don't know how to pronounce it. Before you get to the main course, that is Sun Dragon. I like that it does mention the Rocky music that was playing. I'm trying to remember if he mentions the alternate endings. Yeah, he does. That's right. Cool. I wasn't sure, because it's a lot of reviews to remember, but it's a great read. It's an easy read to pick up. Sometimes he'll put like factoids, which is cool, of certain films. I do also, he doesn't do a lot of Bruce Portation because this is about Western films, but I do like he put a couple in there. Like, I'm so glad he put in my favorite, which is Enter the Game of Death. I hope he does more. I can't imagine how long this took and how much money this was. Because now I'm like, man, I want to see him write a whole book on Bruce Portation films. He mentions he wants to do one on 80s, which I would happily get. Enter the Game of Death. Yeah, because it's the films of Bolo Yun. Here's the other one right here. Hong Kong films, I should say. And that's why he says Hong Kong films. That's why Bloodsport is in here. It's the Hong Kong films. And yes, Enter the Game of Death is talked about there. And a full page. Again, you don't feel ripped off. It's easy to handle. Cool cover. Flying Fist. Great simple title. Like the blue coloring. Looks great on a shelf. Feels sturdy. It was like 20 bucks on Amazon. For those who want to get it. Like I said, if you like martial arts, if you like this fits the word definitive. Like, this title works. It's not like certain Ninja Turtle documentaries, they say definitive, then 80% of it is missing. Like, this works. Like, okay, if we go into, let's say, blindly 1975. What films are talking about 1975 that you looked into? How about films like The Vixens of Kung Fu? How about The Killer Elite, which does have some martial arts in it, with James Caan? How about Paper Tiger? Dot Savage is mentioned. Yes, Dot Savage is mentioned. The Master Gunfighter, which had martial arts in it. Delinquent Schoolgirls, which had Dolomite. Yes, Dolomite is in this. Because I tried to do martial arts in it. How about Cleopatra Jones in the Casino of Gold? Or how about The Man from Hong Kong? Which is definitely one of the more extensive reviews, but there's a lot of history behind that film. And it's also a really good movie. Force 4. Return of Shanghai Joe. The Godfather Squad. 74. Act of Vengeance. This is what Super Stooges versus the Wonder Women. Ninja Killer. Again, because there are a few films like Golden Needles I recognize, and that's in this. The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, TNT Jackson. But I never heard of Men of the Dragon, a pilot movie for a TV series that never came to fruition, dealing with martial arts. I never heard of some of this stuff. Big Zapper, a British spy spoof, starring an Australian that also deals with martial arts. Yeah, I never heard of Battle of the Amazons. That's the fun thing about this, is learning about films for the first time, and, you know, Kung Fu Brothers in the Wild West. Death Machines. That movie. So again, like I said, the only issue I have is I wish there was more pictures. I wish, like I said, I think each one having its VHS poster with a color art. But I would think that'd be a lot more expensive. And, you know, this is your first book. But congrats on getting this. This is something I always wanted to do. But I think you did a great job. You did a wonderful job. And yeah, if you're a fan of 70s martial arts, this guy, he has a passion for it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. It's very extensive. You don't feel shortchanged. Again, technically, before the index, 278 pages. So you definitely get an extensive look. And because it's mostly words, you don't feel ripped off. Like, you did a lot of bang for your buck on this. Flying Fists. So yeah, great job, John. The Fly Ninja 1. Congrats on getting this released. I will put the Amazon link in the info box, but I'll also pin it to a comment under the video on the Amazon. There's other places I know you can get, but that's the one I can think of right off the bat. But yes, check it out if you like martial arts. Great job, man. Wonderful job. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.